Hi everyone, how's it going? This is the Green Flag Blogger here for the 2018 NASCAR season preview. This is my first video of 2018, my first YouTube video ever right now to start the 2018 season. We're going to have a big year with a lot of videos, a lot of content. I'm going to be down in Daytona next week. I cannot wait. I leave on Wednesday. I'll be there for the duels. I'll be there for the Camping World Truck Series race. I'll be there for the Xfinity Series race. And of course, I will be there for the Great American Race, the Daytona 500. But that is not what this video is about. Today, I am here because I want to go over all the teams with you, all the previews that I have, all the intuitions that I have for this upcoming season. I'm really excited. I cannot wait to get down in Florida for Speed Weeks. But let's get right into the season preview with Chip Ganassi Racing. Now, I have them pulled up right here. We have Jamie McMurray and Kyle Larson. Now, I think Jamie McMurray has been teetering on having this win for a while. I think he'll get it this year. I think he'll have one win. It'll come at, a Charlotte Pocono type track, a track where it's going to be more about, whether it comes down to pit strategy or it's going to come down to him just having that day where he's just dominant and, up front from the get-go. I think Jamie will end up finishing top 12. I don't think he'll make it to the top 8. But he will make the playoffs just like he did last season, and he will be competitive all year as he was last season as well. I think Jamie is only getting better. The one team's only gotten better. And look for him at Speed Weeks too, former 500 champion. So we'll see what happens there. Moving on, we have Kyle Larson, NASCAR's golden boy right now. 3 wins last season. Was just unlucky in the playoffs. Also, just never really got into a rhythm towards the end of the season. He needed to just capture one win or have one really good finish, and he just couldn't get it done towards the end of the year. I'd expect Kyle to repeat it, have another 3 wins. I think he'll win one of the 2 Michigan races again. And I could see him winning at a Kentucky, a Kansas, a Bristol, Dover, one of those type of tracks. I feel like he would eat up those tracks. He'll have 1 or 2 wins this season, or at least 1 or 2 wins this season. Qualify the playoffs. I think top 8 minimum for Kyle Larson this season. I'm expecting big things. He's also a guy to watch during Speed Weeks. He's a guy that you have to keep your eye on next week at Daytona and this Sunday during the Clash. Moving on, we move on to Hendrick Motorsports. This is going to be the team with the most unknowns heading into 2018. You have William Byron, Slick Willie Byron, and Alex Bowman making the jump up. You also have Chase Elliott moving over to the 9 car. And then, of course, 7-time Jimmy Johnson staying in the 48, going all black Batmobile. He is about to be a force this season. But getting back, Chase this year, I saw his Mountain Dew car. I'll maybe tweet. I tweeted it out. I think I retweeted it. I might put it out in another blog that I'm doing. He looks ready to go. I'd expect Chase, and he's my favorite driver, near and dear here. I'd expect him to win 2 races this season. As in terms of tracks, I can't say, but I'm thinking 2 wins this season and another top 8 as well. I mean, I've already put like 3 guys of like the 4 that I've done in top 8, but whatever. Then we move on to the 24 team with Slick Willie, Billy Byron. The 24 team, I don't know. He's going to have a fast car. Chase Elliott had a fast car all the time. The 24 team won the pole at his first 500, but just never really put it together. I could see William Byron winning a race this year. I could see him not. I could see him being really competitive, not really on the threshold like Chase was, or I could see him, kind of struggling to find, his legs, and him and his crew chief struggle a little bit through everything. I could see both of those things really I could see anything happening to this number 24 team, really. But what I think will happen, what I think is most likely, is that he'll do what Chase kind of did. He'll be competitive at some tracks. He'll be less competitive at others that are more tricky to figure out with with his crew chief. And then you'll see him get really close to some wins, but I don't think he'll quite get that first win. And in terms of playoffs, I'll say he won't, even though he definitely could, and I could be 100% wrong. I just don't want to, put everybody from Hendrick just in the playoffs just because he's driving the 24 car. The 88, Alex Bowman. This is ridiculous. I honestly, I have no idea what to say here. Same exact situation as the 24, except it's not, because he doesn't have even as much experience, I don't think, as William Byron. He hasn't proven he's as good of a driver as Byron yet. He won one race last year. He raced in one race in the Xfinity Series at Charlotte in the 42 car. I'll say he won't make the playoffs either. I think the 88 and the 24 are on the outside looking in. I think he'll be competitive. I think he'll have some top 10s, but I don't think he'll get that win either. I could be 100% wrong as well. He could win the championship for all I know. I honestly don't know. So that wraps up Hendrick. We move on to JTG Doherty Racing. So we have the 37 and the 47 team. Chris Buescher returning to the 37 team. What's up? I have some piece of sheet metal off of one of his cars from Vegas last year that I won in an Instagram contest, and I will show it to everyone. Shout out to Chris Buescher. Thank you so much to JTG Doherty Racing for the cool little piece of sheet metal here, signed from the Vegas car in 2017. But unfortunately, I don't think Chris will be much of a contender in 2018. Sorry to say. I really pull for the 37 team. I think that they're probably not even the best out of the two teams in JTG, but they're growing. And, they'll have a shot. I think they'll be, between 25th and 30th in points. And we could see them go a little bit higher, which would be awesome. I'd love to see Chris Buescher get back into victory lane and run well. Now we move to AJ Allmendinger. Pretty simple here. He'll, be there on the road courses. He'll run good at Sonoma. He'll run good at Watkins Glen. And he'll run decent everywhere else. I think it's going to be the same sort of thing. If he's going to make the playoffs, he's got to win at the Glen or he's got to win at Sonoma. I don't see them winning any of the ovals. And I don't see them running particularly great at any of the ovals either. I think he could make the playoffs, but I don't see him doing it this year. I think he'll struggle at Watkins Glen because there's too much pressure on him, just like happened last season. And he'll struggle at Sonoma because he hasn't been able to win there. So I have him not making the playoffs and being just in the outside looking in. So between 17th to 22nd in points, somewhere in that region right there, right on the cusp of making it once again. Then we move on to Levon Family Racing. So we have Casey Kane in the 95 car this season. Not expecting much out of him. I remember when Casey Kane went to Red Bull Racing for that one season that no one likes to talk about when they mention Casey Kane because he just ran terribly. So I don't think you're going to see much Casey Kane this year. But at the same time, I think I blogged about this and I was like, he might be a sleeper. So, I'm obviously saying that just because Casey Kane goes to this team. They're a Richard Childress affiliate. I believe that they have all of their packages from Richard Childress. So, they're in sort of the same boat, I think, as Richard Petty Racing. You don't really know what to expect from them. I could see them running really well. I think I put Casey Kane on the outside looking in 17 to 22nd. It was a great run for the 95 team from where they were. And no wins this year. But maybe in, the future, the 95 team could be running up front. I mean, look at Furniture Row Racing. Championship last season. First win 2013. And we're a back marker before that. So I'd love to see them run well, but I just don't think they're ready quite yet to be at that stage. And let's move on to Premium Motorsports. Yes, so Danica will definitely be running and gunning, but I don't think she has any shot to win. I don't think that the team has the best equipment, but it's great to have a sponsor in there, great to have her back. It'll be a really cool atmosphere that we have Danica Patrick back in NASCAR. And, of course, if Aaron Rodgers can show up and just, be for the brand and just be promoting this sport, that we are welcoming that so much. But it all lies on Danica, really. She's got to make the invite. She's got to be the one to initiate it. We got to have Aaron Rodgers on the pit box. Maybe even if he wants to be the Grand Marshal, give it to him. Let him say whatever he wants. We'll do this. Now, let's move on, though. We will move on. I didn't even talk about the 15 car that Reed Sorensen races for Premium Motorsports because he's like 42nd or something like that. So let's move on to Richard Childress Racing. RCR this season loses a legend in Paul Menard, but they've got new affiliates, new alliance with Richard Petty Motorsports, and now you have Austin Dillon and Ryan Newman returning after they both received a win last season and were both playoff contenders. Ryan Newman, I don't think he gets a win this year. Last year it was on pit strategy and he was in the right place at the right time. Still a good win, but I don't think he gets as lucky this year. Austin Dillon, similar sort of situation. I think he will get a win this year. I just don't like him at all, though. I hate him. So I hope he doesn't win. I have no real respect for either of the Dillon brothers. But the only respect I do have for them is that they do have some aspect of driving ability. And I think Austin will grab another win this year, unfortunately. And he will make it back to the playoffs. I would say 16. I think he'll be out in the first round again. And I would never predict him winning the championship. Now we go into Richard Petty Motorsports, who is just, kind of started this alliance and moved over to Chevy. A lot of big changes. They bring in Darrell Wallace. They get rid of their longtime driver, Eric Almirola, along with Smithfield, who's been a longtime sponsor. They have Air Force now and STP. So kind of just like, bare minimum for sponsors. Let's get it on. Bubba's here. Big name for, merchandise-wise. Needs to prove himself on the Cup circuit. He was one of the hottest prospects in NASCAR when he was, driving for Kyle Busch. Won at Eldora. I believe he won the Camping World Championship. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I believe he did. And, now you have him moving up to the Cup circuit after he subbed in for Almirola last season. And he did all right. So I'm a big Bubba fan. I'd love to see him run well. I don't have him winning a race this season. I think he just needs to develop a little bit more, but I'd love to see him run up front and get some more top 10s and sneak his way into the playoffs. I think he'll also be in like that 25th to 17th sort of place right there, but if he could sneak in, I'd be elated. And we move on to Starcom Racing. They have the 00 car with Jeffrey Earnhardt, who I unfortunately got fired. So we won't be seeing the 33 Hulu car this season, I don't think, with Jeffrey Earnhardt behind the wheel. I got my picture of Jeffrey Earnhardt taken in New Hampshire. I blogged about his team preview, and just, a day after I blogged it, he was fired. So I said he wasn't going to do that great. I think that they heard the footsteps, and it's not a good look for me. It's not a good look for him. I wish him all the best, though, this season. It's great to have another Earnhardt, even though he's not even recognized by his own last name. Everybody thinks that Earnhardt don't race anymore. Well, Jeffrey's here. He's ready to go. He's in the 00 Starcroft car. Let me double check that sponsor name. Yep, he's in the Starcom Racing 00. So let's do it. I think Jeffrey will run 35th to 40th every week. Maybe have a restricted plate finish of over 30th, and will come 35th to 40th in points. Maybe 33rd. So that's all I have to say about that. Let's move on to TriStar Motorsports with Cole Witt, and Corey LaJoie did run for them. I don't know if he is again. But same exact situation as Jeffrey Earnhardt. Never going to contend for a win. I don't care what track they're at, unless 30 guys crash. Not going to contend for a victory. Is there just to putt around and have a good time. 30th in points, best case scenario. Go Fast Racing with Matt DiBenedetto. Now, Matt DiBenedetto has done wonders for this team, not only on the racetrack, but off the racetrack, more importantly. Connecting with people on Reddit, connecting with people through social media, being just, this really likable guy, always has a smile on his face in the pits. I was lucky enough to meet him at New Hampshire as well. Talked to him for a few minutes. He's an awesome dude in person. And now we got him back in the 32 car, which is so great for Go Fast Racing. He could really bring this team, and he broke some records for them this past season. I'm really banking on Matty D having a great year. I don't think that they'll contend for any win, but I know that they've moved up or they kind of upgraded their charter. They have some better parts, maybe some better motors and things like that. And I would love to see the 32 team just keeping up strong. Coming in some top 20s, top 15s, things like that. Just getting their name around. Maybe even some top. If we had a top 10 from Matt DiBenedetto this year, that'd be great. That would be like a win for them. So I'm completely behind them. I'm pulling for him. Let's go, Matt DiBenedetto. That is such a mouthful. Now we get to Roush Fenway Racing. I just released my blog today as I'm recording this, February 8th, for Roush Fenway's preview this year. So I'll start off with Trevor Bayne, the former Daytona 500 champion. Also got a picture with my boy Trev Bayne. I'll post that right here. And, this year I think another guy who's like on the cusp. Like, a lot of guys that are on the outside looking in, I think he's going to be one of them. I don't think he gets a win this year. I think he struggles a little bit towards the beginning of the season, starts to gain a little traction in the middle part, and I think he'll end up getting some top 10s and top 5s and just end on the outside looking in. But in that 17 to 20 range, but I don't think he'll end up making the playoffs. And even if he did, he'd be out first round. So moving on to Ricky Stenhouse Jr., comes off 2 wins last season. A lot of momentum for that team right now. I think Roush is putting all their eggs in that basket. They want Ricky to have a really good season, following up that 2 wins. They don't want him to just, everybody to think it's just a fluke. That 17 car has a lot of history behind it. I think you'll see Ricky win at least 1 this year. He's got to win at least 1. But the thing that I am hoping for that team is that Ricky does not die in the first corner of the first lap of Daytona because Aaron Rodgers is sitting on Danica's pit box. If Aaron Rodgers becomes a regular NASCAR guy, like, he's there a few weekends, like every once in a while, that's going to be real trouble for Rick. I'm thinking Ricky Stenhouse, if he can't get it done on a super speedway, I don't know if he's going to make it. But if he can pull out that oval win, all bets are off. This boy could go on and win the championship if he get that oval win, honest. He just needs to get through this first few weeks. Get through these next 2 weeks. Speed weeks, Danica plastered everywhere. She's back in action. If she's got Aaron Rodgers there, Stenhouse is in a lot of trouble. And a track that he's really good at and he won a race at last season. But we're going to figure it out. So like I said, I think Ricky Stenhouse needs to get a win on a track other than a super speedway in order for him to really be competitive in the championship race. I don't know if he can do it, but if he were to repeat at Talladega and something like that, that would be huge for him as well. So wish him all the best, but not really sure about his spot right now. I think he will get a win. I think he will get in the chase. I don't know how competitive he'll be, though. Move on to Stewart-Haas Racing. So we've got Eric Almirola in the 10, Kevin Harvick in the 4, Clint Bowyer in the 14, and Kurt Busch in the 41. I think all 4 of them get a win. I think all 4 of them will get at least 1 win and will be in the chase. That is my bold prediction. I have not even released my Stewart-Haas blog yet, but I have all 4 of them having at least 1 win, getting in the chase. I think Eric Almirola has waited way too damn long to be really competitive in that 43 car. He is ready to go. He's still in a Ford. He's familiar with the manufacturer that he's driving. It is time for him to get it done and have a real win in NASCAR. Win that race, get to the chase, be competitive every single week. Clint Bowyer will get over the hump this year and, had some issues that they worked out, but he had some strong finishes in that 14 car. They'll get a win. Then Kurt Busch and Kevin Harvick, the vets, will come back along with Bowyer and we'll get a win. I wouldn't even call it Almirola as a veteran at this point, but he's still considered sort of a young gun. Moving on to Penske. So this is the team last year. I haven't gotten to 2 of the big boys, but last year the envy was Furniture Row Racing. I think everybody was trying to catch up with them the entire season. You had Martin Truex just going dominant, crazy every week. He was up front, had a chance to win at every track. I think that's going to be your boy Brad Keselowski this year. I think I've already said Brad Keselowski is going to win the championship. Again, I haven't released my blog yet. It will be out this week. But like I said, Brad Keselowski winning the championship this year. Logano bounces back, gets at least 1 win, is a playoff driver. And Ryan Blaney gets another win and is in the playoffs as well. Like, these guys are going to be... I think Keselowski has 5 wins plus and goes on to win the championship. Like, these are going to be the guys that they're going to be like, oh my God, what do they do over the offseason? We got to catch up with the 2 and the 22 and the 12. So let's move on from Penske. I've already made my championship prediction to Wood Brothers Racing with my boy Paul Menard. Proud of him to still be in a race car. I cannot believe that he's going to change Wood Brothers' historic partnership with Motorcraft. They'll be in a yellow 21, and it's going to look terrible, and he's probably going to drive even worse than the car looks. Paul Menard, no shot to win a race. No shot. I think this guy will do exactly what he's been kind of doing at Childress for the past couple seasons. He won that 1 race at the Brickyard. He was like, nice. Like, I can just chill and lay back and have a good time. Of course, he's going to take it seriously. I don't think Paul has it in him anymore. I think that this is just getting too competitive. A lot of young guys coming up in really good rides. If he runs up front, great. I mean, I'm a big Paul Menard guy. I'd love to see Paul Menard win a race for Wood Brothers. That'd be crazy, but I don't think it'll happen. I think that they'll miss the playoffs, be 25th or 30th in points. Burger King Racing, number 23 car. I think it's like Joey Gase or Gray Galding. Like, they split time last year. Yeah, same situation as Cole Witt and the other one that Jeffrey Earnhardt. Like, never, ever going to be in contention. Martin Truex Jr. Okay, so now we get to Furniture Row Racing. That downsized. They're back to one team. Their focus is all on the number 78 now. Oh, boy. He's got a real shot to repeat, but I don't think he will. I think he'll win another 5 races. I think he'll be dominant as always, but I don't think he'll quite get it done again. He could, he absolutely could. I could be wrong. Just kind of going off of what I'm feeling. But God, he's got to be the envy of the field right now. People are going to be trying to figure out what they did last season and how to recreate it as best as possible. I'll say 5 wins. I'll say 5+ wins, 3rd in points. Yeah, that's what I'm going with. While I've been editing this video, I just realized that I didn't do my prediction for Front Row Motorsports with the 34 and the 38 team. They just acquired Michael McDowell for the 34 team, and they have David Reagan, who's been a long-time employee for them in the 38 car. I don't think that either of them will get a win this year. I think, though, you look for David Reagan to run well on the big tracks like Talladega and Daytona. They have the famous 1-2 finish, which is awesome for a small team like that. That would be so good for the sport if they could repeat that. I think David Reagan will run a little bit better than McDowell this first season, and McDowell will gain some chemistry and do a little bit better. And as he moves over from Chevy to Ford, he'll find out some more stuff about the car and have a decent run. I think that they'll both end up 25th to 30th in points, though. Now we move on to Gibbs, and we'll start with number 11, Denny Hamlin. I think Hamlin will also get at least 1 win, top 5 in points. So I don't think he'll quite make it to the Final 4. I've only named 2 guys, so I have Keselowski and I have Kyle Busch. Daniel Suarez, I'll start with again. I don't think that he'll win a race. I think he'll be on the outside looking in. And then we have Kyle Busch, who I think will win 3+ races, will be 2nd in points, which leaves us with 1 more guy to be in our top 4. So let me just look through here. I'll say Jimmy Johnson. I'll take the cop-out. I think Jimmy has at least 3 wins. Our Final 4 for next season is going to look like this. It's going to be number 1, Brad Keselowski, number 2, Kyle Busch, number 3, Martin Truex Jr., and number 4, Jimmy Johnson. I think there's 1 more car that I didn't mention. Yeah, Eric Jones. I think Eric Jones will also have a win. I think all 4 Gibbs teams will have a win. All 4 Stewart-Haas teams will have a win. And you'll see those guys take up 8 of the 16 playoff spots. Yeah, I'm really excited about the 2018 season. I cannot wait to start recording on Wednesday. And make sure you tune into my Snapchat, my Instagram, all that good stuff. I'm going to be posting that stuff all in the description so that you guys know where I'm going to be at. And I just can't wait to get some good footage and just watch some great racing all week long. So let me know what you think of my predictions. I'm sure that you probably don't agree with me in some respect. And I'll see you next time. This is Green Flag Blogger signing out.
I'm high as I've ever been, higher than heaven sits.